Hello and welcome guys to another little tutorial that we're doing. And today I believe we are going to talk about some return types. Now, what do I mean by return types? Well, a return type is, let's say you want to return or ask for a vector3 or vice versa. Now, in our little class here, this is our prime example. We are doing move direction, and we're coming from our inputs and doing this. Okay, well, maybe we don't want this. Maybe we want something completely different. So what I was thinking about is, why don't we do a return type for this? Ask the input system to give us a vector3. So in our input system here, which is a bunch of getters and setters and stuff, instead of going directly for it, like so, we can go down and make a function. Now this is a fixed update here, and this is fine. But to make a return type, it has to be public because you're going to be accessing it from someplace else, right? Which is fine. I mean, that's what you're doing, right? So what else do we need? Well, we also need it to be some form of class. Like, for instance, this one will be a vector3. Okay? And, well, you know, there's this and that. I mean, it's pretty common. Or we can have it do some type of weapon class, you know, but it has to return something. So for this example, we're going to do a vector3. Okay, vector3, player, LR. Let's just call it LR. Now, we can do overload methods to call up vectors and things like that, like a normal function. But up here, you're going to see this turn red, and you're not going to know why, because we haven't done very many of these, but this is wanting us to return something. Like a coroutine, you'll return null, you'll return, or just continue, or wait for seconds. Okay? So we could put vector3 dot 0 here. And in order for do that, we have to put return. Okay? And that's what this will do. Or not. Vector. Oh, it's because it has to be a new vector3. And I think it will default to 0. Yes, yes, yes. Or not. New vector3. Really? Anyway, we'll get back to that. So in our little thing, we will go and say this is a vector3. Let's say Tim. Okay. And equals new vector3. And we have to instantiate it. That's probably what it was. Equals. Really? It's not going to let me? Vector3 dot 0. Stop. Okay. And then we return our 10, okay? Then no more errors. No more little lines or nothing like that, because it's expecting us to return a vector 3. So in this, we can do our new keyword, vector 3, and we have to give it values. Float, float, float. Okay, so instead of doing our little run horizontal and this, we can go and put our other values in, which horizontal is the first one. We have to do our floats and everything. So horizontal, okay, which is a float. And then this one we always did 0, and then we do our vertical, okay, and then we're there we are. We're all good. And what this will do is we have to have this public so we can access it from other scripts. Now this will instantiate and set the values and everything else. I don't really like that it's new vector 3 like that. Can we do vector 3.set? Vector 3.set. Temp.set. Void vector 3 set cannot explicitly. Oh, then we gotta do new. Yeah, I'm not cool with that. Or is it because this isn't here? Cannot explicitly convert void to. Really? It is a vector 3, but it probably has to be a permanent value. That's what I'm thinking. So let's go up here and put it at a permanent value. Okay? And then let's get rid of this. Now the reason why I do this is because I don't want it to CG a... Yeah, we could do that. Ooh. Values. Okay? Now this will be called this. Now this will be permanent, which I guess is fine. I mean, it's not really that big of a deal to me, but actually this will be a lot. Really? I don't want it to do that, but I'm cool with it. Because here's the thing about this, is when this runs, it will set the values and do this, which I'm fine with. I am perfectly fine with it doing that. So now, instead of it CGing a vector 3 every single frame, like in here, this is creating a new vector 3 every single frame. Now, instead of doing this, which we will go and make us a little comment. This is the old code. This is the old way for getting inputs. And instead of doing this, we will do move direction. Okay. Equals our inputs from our class dot, and now we will put, what did we call that again? I always forget that stuff. Player dot player LR, which requires no overload method. And boom. And that's it. One single line of code. So whenever we call from our input class and we need the left and right, we can do a return type. You know, this is horizontal, this is vertical. It will always be 0 in there. Now we can make this a vector too, but then we would have to manipulate it for this, which kind of sucks. I mean, do we really want the Y position, or are we always going to want to zero it out? I don't know. It all depends on your game. But the Y position is like jumping up and down for us on that one. Which on this type of function, you can always have it not set it and just return it. That's fine. Which, believe it or not, we don't even need. Actually, we do need to, because the reason why we put this permanent one here is so that we can stuff it in vector 3 and return it. Okay, and what this vector3.set does is it will not create a vector 3 every single frame. Every single time we're doing this, we're not going to be doing something very heavy. We're basically just manipulating something that's already there, which is a heck of a lot more performant. I mean, it's just like when we're doing our jumping motion, we're going and equaling it to our jump speed. Okay, so, and it's just like deteriorating something through time.time or time.delta time. Makes it a heck of a lot easier to deal with. Just like this magnitude right here. This right here is being calculated on the class right here. We don't actually really have to do this. We can have this be done in a single class, as in like the actual advanced player object. We just have to have a reference to it, which we do. Advanced player object, we have a reference to it. So let's go into our go to definition, as in a right click. Well, it's hidden in the inspector, but we actually have one because we're getting a reference object, which is fine. I mean, it's really easy. But this is something we are going to do. Is it? Is it something that we want to manipulate? And we might not want to. We may not want to. But it is something that we could look at. Okay? Because we do have these objects, and these can be return types now. We don't actually really need to do this. Now, you're probably thinking, is this heavy lifting doing this or anything else? And the answer is no. It's not heavy lifting whatsoever. It's a very quick thing. Unless you're doing a get component and then getting it every single frame, then it'll be fine. So we did this in the running state, okay, of our old code to new. So instead of, we probably want it to do it in our walking. Okay, and we will up this a little, and we have the same thing, right? We're doing move direction, and we're doing it in the same manner. So let's get rid of that right there and do our new stuff. Okay, and you might see this magnitude right here, and then go clamping, and it's calculating the velocity.magnitude. This only runs when this script is active and running. So this is only getting done once, despite us having walking, running, jumping, and all that. It's actually doing it exactly when we want, not the other way around. And I hope you understand that, because this on update is not called every frame. It's not a mono. Okay, and this is a overwritten class anyway. In our advanced player, when we're starting our thing, okay, this is calling the updates on everything else. We're just doing it in a current player thing. Okay? Which makes it very, very easy to deal with. You just have to deal with it. Now, what? Oh, this is set here so that in every one of our player things, I can throw the animation script to every single child object. Like, let's say you want a class, okay? You have, let's say, 20 classes or 50 or just a bunch of them, okay? And you want it to get a certain value. Now, if every single class has a reference to the parent class, the class that you're trying to access, like, let's say a good example of this is our weapon class. Okay, our weapon class has a static method to let other classes get values off of it. Okay, and this class is about to change, because it doesn't need to be static anymore. I'm actually going to be changing a lot of this script again, because it served its purpose for a lot of different things. But we are going to make it a lot cleaner and a lot different. You're going to probably be very surprised on how much cleaner it's going to be soon. But we are definitely going to be working with a lot more of these type of return types, so that you guys can get used to this and running getters and setters, and work a lot more with constructors. And what I mean by a constructor is our simple function, okay? Like, we'll have a public void do this, or not do this, but get player ref or something like that, which our public function would have overloads, like we need a float gun, float, health, int, ammo, and what this will do is most of the time what we'll do is we'll just bring the values, and then we'll have inner functions that will go like that will set or gun, float, or animation. Basically, we'll use this public constructor to call more private things like private gun, which requires a float, right? And then this will do its internal thing. Okay, and you'll have some kind of code in there. Public, this is a void. Okay, and in our reference, this will be the publicly accessible one, because this might be like your initializer, okay, for what gun you have, how much health you have, how much ammo you have, for some type of reason, I don't know. But as an example, we'll go gun, and then we'll put in gun, okay, which we can't do that because gun value, okay, and we will put it gets confusing because the compiler and stuff like that doesn't know what value you need, or if it's a function or vice versa. That's one reason why your naming conventions have to be really well. Okay, so now I got my gun, so now we're going to go and we're going to make another private thing that will be, another example of this is set health, and you'll have, now the reason why this doesn't care versus this is a local variable here. This is bound to this function, okay? That's why it doesn't care. But if you have a function name and then a value somewhere, it doesn't like it. And this type of convention right here is exactly the type of stuff that you need when you work with networking and you want to spawn a lot of information. You'll do one with a bunch of overloads so that you can do one RPC that's a big old jolt into your system, like or gun value, the gun that the player wants to have when he spawns, okay? Or maybe it's a layout or something. I mean, you're going to have a giant overload for that one single RPC call or a command call. So you'll send a massive amount of information in one call versus having a bunch of teeny tiny RPCs, like one for gun, one for health, one for this, one for that, because you want to minimize your traffic. Or even in your program, it would be very plausible to have this overload a class and then have it sort the class. Now when you RPC with Photon, I don't think it will allow you to do an entire class like that. Most of the time when you RPC, it's going to, it needs a serializable value, which you might be able to get an array in there or something. You have to experiment. I forget, but there was some really good stuff that you can do with network. But that's a whole different type of thing. In the old networking system for Unity, not AutoZone thing, for that, you had to. Are you seriously not going to give me the top of it? You had to label this an RPC. Okay? This is an RPC call. And then when your player spawned in or something like that, you would have some type of thing from a function that would go get component, and then it would be no, I have to do a local variable network view net equals get component network work. It's probably going to hate me because it doesn't like it, and come on, stop being a butt. So yeah, and well, the thing about it is you would have to call an RPC. So in your net, okay, which is our variable right here, dot RPC, and then you would have a string name, target, and parameters, okay? A string name, alright, and then a string name calls an RPC function on a specific player. Okay, so an RPC, so you would have to get player reference as a string, okay, and then our target, I believe it was RPC all net dot it's been a while since I used their version of it. A string name, network target, no overload for method RPC takes one argument. Really? RPC mode dot all, and then the object arguments. Oh. Maybe it's just screwed up because of that. Object arguments. Why did it? Makes no sense to me. I'll have to research that, but I know which that's an obsolete method anyway because it's not the way it's ran anymore. But it could be because the library is broken on my thing. But anyway, you would label an RPC and things and do that. Photons is a heck of a lot easier. I would show you, but I don't have Photon installed at the moment. And, you know, it may not exactly be what you would exactly want. But, yeah, for the most part, that's how you can do a return type. And it explains a little bit more on what you could possibly need for your game. Because we will be working with it a lot more. Now, as for more videos and stuff like that, they are coming. So, you know, if you like this video and want more of them and want more explanations about doing some return types, you can return a lot of different things like transforms and different stuff for information. So don't think that this is just what you can do. It's for Vector 3. There's a whole bunch of different types. If you need more information about it and would like more videos on this, make sure you let me know in the comments and like, hit subscribe, and do all that good stuff for the channel, because it brings more people like yourself. And remember, the comments are actually exactly how I know that you guys need something explained. Because, you know, there's only so many things Unity, and, you know, if you guys don't comment and show that you're confused about something, I can't make a video that explains it, because I don't know what you guys need, as in the community, you know, with all you guys. Because, you know, everybody's different. I mean, I can read the API, but there are several videos in the you know, the good old playlist and the YubTub, or whatever you want to call it, or the YouTube, or the, you know, whatever you call YouTube. So it's like I always say, if you guys don't ask questions, I don't know what to give you guys for content. But you know, have a nice day, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you very much. Bye bye.